Okay, welcome to the Bryan Municipal Utilities Board meeting for August 6th. Call the meeting to order. You'd all rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. John, would you like to do the roll call, please?
We will. Karen Ford.
Present.
Annette Schreiner.
Here.
Jim Salsbury.
Here.
Dick Long.
Present.
And Bob Eyre.
Yes.
The first thing on the agenda tonight is to approve the minutes of the July 16th, 2024 meeting. You've all been presented with a copy of the minutes. Any questions, concerns, corrections? Otherwise, I'll accept a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
One comment. It's been pointed out to me, I had a couple of misspelled Eric's last name a couple of times. Of all things, I would call it a scrivener's error. I'm going to correct a version and redistribute it, but it shouldn't, it's not a substantial change. I think you should accept the motion and second to approve with all the clean copies.
Thank you.
And I would like to point out that you spelled it.
Name, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the C out of there. I don't ever have that problem.
So with that, I apologize. Was it Bob and
Yep.
Dick?
Accepted.
Bob?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
And Jim?
Yes.
Okay, up next is a opportunity for hearing of public concerns. Anyone who would like to address the board? Seeing none, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a discussion and possible resolution to discontinue BMU Internet Services. Derek is going to begin this with a discussion about the history of the internet and where we're at today and what we potentially might do with the resolution.
So, as you all are aware, July 16th BPA meeting, you were presented with information about the current state or the position of the internet service. That presentation included information about the total number of customers or subscribers, total internet sales. We also talked about fund balances, revenues and expenses, also the aged equipment and the failing equipment. And then also we talked about competition with other providers. The board was then presented with several options to consider. We did ask for your direction. Those options included upgrading the current HFC system at an estimated cost of $2.1 million, to further evaluate fiber to the home at an estimated cost of $5.6 million, or to develop an exit plan as an internet service provider. And based on your discussion and direction, we have developed an exit plan. You do have a copy of a detailed plan to look through, but I will just give you a high-level overview of that. So this plan and timeline is based upon your approval to discontinue internet service December 9th, 2024 at 4 p.m. I do want to add that we had quite a few discussions about the date, both with Joe and I, our office staff, and John in the clerk's office as well. We wanted to make sure that we provided ample time for customers to find an alternate provider. It's approximately 120 days from now. We believe that would be ample time. We also wanted to avoid the Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's holidays, and as well as Fridays. We know there may be some customers that wait until the very end, and we didn't want any of those factors to affect their ability to sign up with another provider. So, again, this is all based on December 9th. We would immediately begin with customer notification. That would include information on the BMU webpage, social media, letters to our customers, and then also notice on utility bills. And we would like to run those for 2 billing cycles. We'd also notify our after-hours help desk, so they're aware of the changes and may be able to help any customers that call after hours. And then we also would not schedule any new service installs if the board does approve this. So basically, from your approval through October, we would continue to process work orders and disconnects. 45 to 60 days prior to service ending, we would plan to review the number of active accounts. And at that point, we would determine a best method to contact those remaining active accounts. It could be another mailer, a door tag, a phone call, social media, but based on the number of active accounts, we determine what would be the best approach. And that would happen about December 9th then, Joe and his team would take those technical steps and they would complete the termination of the service. That'd be followed up with monitoring internet traffic for about 24 hours just to ensure that that termination is completed. And then at the end of the year, also we would contact our help desk and we'd let them know we no longer needed those services, but any after-hours calls then we direct to CRC, which we use for any after-hours electric and water outages. After the first of the year, and these are all dates to be determined, the board will need to address the annual lease payment to the electric department. And then we'll also work with John in the process to transfer funds from the 509 to the 501. And that may not happen in 2025, but those dates are to be determined. And then lastly, there is an extensive amount of decommissioning of equipment, both in our head end, in our hub locations at Baker and Cherry and Curtin substations, and also with the outside plant. So again, a very high-level overview. This exit plan is probably more of a living document that will be adjusted as we go. Joe and I can answer any questions that you might have, but based on your discussion and comments, if you do wish to move forward, we do have a resolution prepared for you. You would just need to ask John to number and read before you take any action.
Any comments or discussions? I think you did a good job giving us an overview of what the plan would be. And I don't see December 9th being an issue that I know of as far as causing any problems with that.
Derek, looking at this, I know it's a work in process and it's ongoing. To make understanding how this, maybe the largest cost could possibly be, like you mentioned earlier in our conversation, labor. Is there a ballpark on what the cost could be?
I mean, as far as the decommissioning, you know what you're asking. I mean, I don't have a ballpark figure. It's going to be kind of, as time allows, there'll also be disposal fees. Those are going to be the bulk of the cost.
And how long would it take to decommission everything, approximately?
I mean, at minimum a year, Joe. At minimum.
Yeah. So we would have expenses for approximately, in the budget year 2025, for the most cost. Okay.
I wasn't able to attend the second meeting in July, but I'm sure had quite an involved discussion. I just was wondering, when am I safe in assuming that since that discussion and it's become public, is our number of subscribers, is it declined in the last?
We've probably lost 75 to 100 customers since that discussion.
Well, I can say this much. I mean, I know 3 of the board members here that were employees when this whole program started back a long time ago. And I remember the main intention at that time was for competition from the only other provider that was available. I remember also my in-laws living 3 miles north of town, them being on the same cable company that I was on at the time. And after the city got going, their cable was more expensive than mine. So, I mean, it did serve a purpose. It served a definite purpose. It seems to me, from what I've seen over the years, that a utility this size can't compete with the bigger company. I mean, well, even on the cable end with broadcasting costs and things like that, we just couldn't. And what with not trying to pad the costs a little bit so that we could get a little further down the road before they had to hit us again, that made it even more difficult. I guess the internet service probably falls pretty much under that same program, that it's just, I guess the good side of it is, if there is a good side, not for us, but if there's a good side for the customers, that's the market's changed a lot.
Yeah, there's multiple.
There's a lot, yeah, there's a lot more available to them out there now than there was, I don't know, what, 20 years ago? So, as much as you hate to lose customers and end up dealing with something like this, I don't think anybody's going to get hurt too bad, I don't think.
Derek, just a question top of my mind. If the word gets out, obviously, and we accept this resolution, do you think people will not pay their bills? Knowing that we're running out of business, so therefore.
I would think they would pay their bills.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's on their electric and water bill, so they'd have to literally do the math to deduct the internet.
Okay. So it's a combination on one bill?
Yeah.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I mean, I hate to see this go just like we did the cable, but I don't know how to quite say this. That's your free enterprise system. That's competition. Competition knocked us out of the picture. You know, so with that said, cable's going to be cheaper, probably faster. You know, we just can't compete with these people anymore. It just costs us too much money and no return. So, I mean, we've been talking about this for quite a while.
And the cost of equipment.
Yep, we postponed the inevitable long enough. It's time to take a bow.
And we did choose to take this step by step instead of doing everything all at once by combining cable, TV, email, and internet service all into one cutoff date. We opted to do it as time permitted us to do it with the longevity of the customer base and the equipment and the subscriptions. So it was our decision to not do it all at once and put the customers in a terrible position. So we did hold off as long as we could to keep things going until there were some good benefits for the customer base. I want to make sure that you all understand that. Yes, we could have done this all at once, but we didn't want to do that to anyone and put them in bad positions. It is a sad situation, it's a sad day for us to lose the communication department this way, but it was built for a purpose and it has served its purpose. Thank you, Joe, for your time and keeping it up and running. And I saw a lot of changes to it from the time I hired in and helped purchase items for you and watch things change, yes. And the customers are competition, not really competition. Our friends up north in Coldwater, they went through the very same thing, and we watched it happen to them. And so that was kind of putting the writing on the wall for us to be aware and be prepared for it too. So it helped us plan what to do. And I do appreciate your time in giving the overview of the exit plan. It sounds like a good one, and it does give customers until December 9th. Again, for this year, December 9th, they'll be shut off at 4 p.m. that day. And we're here to help you out if anybody needs any help until then, to answer your questions. And it'll give all of our billing department internally here in the city clerk's office time to get the paperwork and billing taken care of, so there's plenty of time to get things done that way. I think it's gonna be a good plan.
The only other thing I could add is, for those customers that do cancel their subscription, they can call our office. They can email communications@cityofbryan.com, or they can visit in person. And any rented equipment that they have, they would not need to return.
Would not need to
Correct.
return.
As that equipment would be obsolete, non-usable to
Right.
anyone else, for any other providers' services. Yeah. Let me have John number and read by title the resolution, and then we can vote whether we want to go ahead with this plan, or you can decline if there's some other plan that you would like to further discuss. We can table the matter as well. But we'll put this before the board for a vote first and see where it takes us. John?
Yeah, resolution number 17, 2024, to discontinue Bryan Municipal Utilities Internet Services.
Is there a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Dick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
And Bob.
Yes.
Thank you all. Up next is, on the agenda, is to effect semi-monthly disbursements. Take a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion that we pay the bills.
I'll second.
Annette?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
And Dick.
Yes.
Up next, any comments from BPA and staff? Bob, would you like to start us, please?
Yes, I do. I have a couple questions, and I'll direct those to Derek. Looking at the graph, I notice on the Bryan solar field that the generation of kilowatts hours for July of 2024 was the lowest in the last 12 years. And typically, solar in July should be the highest.
So
Curiosity why we would be the lowest.
there was a module on one of the inverters that's failed. We did get that part ordered from the vendor. I just heard this afternoon it's being overnighted. Should be here tomorrow. And then we have to wait for Jim or Rudolph Libby, hopefully by the week's end, to come and have it installed, and it'll be back up.
In July, the temperatures were mild, so the generation hours probably were very minimal compared to history, like the electric plant out there, power plant, things like that.
It was mild.
Yeah, in a sense, they were in July.
It was pretty warm in July.
We had quite a few peak demand days.
Yeah,
in
we
July.
ran, today would be the 16th time we run. I know it's August, but yeah, we ran
In July.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know in June you did, but okay. I thought July was kind of a warmer or cooler than normal month. So.
They've been pretty busy over there running.
Great, that's good. Okay. Anything to save dollars is awesome. Second question, looking at the industrial usage, I noticed that the kilowatt hours were less than last year, but the sales dollars were equal to last year.
Yeah, in December there was a rate increase, and that was the last rate increase of the 3-year plan. So that made up for it. And I think the graph too, probably by the increment, you know, they're kind of large, so they're
Sure.
the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a decrease from last year, and then I looked at the revenue side, and it was equal. I thought to myself, that's interesting to see. That's good. Last thing, just looking at the graph for the water treatment plant. On the graph on the bottom part, it shows a significant drop on the red arrow in, just, I don't know if that was just a,
Are you talking about the industrial usage, Bob?
no, the Bryan water treatment plant, water production care.
That was probably just the way the formulas wrote it.
Yeah, I just noticed that it just went south,
Yeah.
like almost like big time, so just the formula.
The plant's still operating?
I'm sure it is.
As normal.
Okay. Okay. So,
Dick?
About the only thing I got is I understand we generated today till, I think about 5 o'clock, or maybe they're still
We're
going.
probably still going.
And hats off to the power plant guys, they give it all we got. I guess what I understand, we're about this close to hit the 1 CP.
Yeah, the 1 CPU was 22.3, the last I looked, and it had hit 22.1, so, and it's really changed. That curve is lasting, that peak period is lasting so much longer now than what it used to. So it's forcing us to run longer to make sure we hit them.
Yeah. To cool down, I suspect that's helping us too, a little bit.
Yeah.
That's about all I have.
Jim?
I don't know what I could possibly say that hasn't already been said. Yeah, hats off to the power plant guys.
Annette?
I'm just gonna say it's kind of a sad day.
I guess all I have to say is, yeah, it's sad to see the internet come to an end, but we have to do sometimes what we have to do, and it's not necessarily the most pleasant thing to do.
I'm in agreement with that. Joe, thanks for your years of service, putting us through all the cable TV, internet, email. A lot of work for you, a lot of hours, you and your crew, the whole department. And yes, congratulations on the new employees to the power plant as well. And the city clerk's office. So that's all I have.
I was going to thank the power plant, but we've already done that. And do want to thank Joe and his team for all the years they've been able to operate not only the cable service, but the internet service. It's sad to see it go, but they did an outstanding job managing it all these years.
I have nothing to add.
John?
Nothing else?
Mr. Betts? Joe? Brian Tynes?
Nope.
Village report?
Just one question. So customers will just be like finding their own internet provider, like Metalink, or is the
So-
town going to something different?
So on the webpage, there's some frequently asked questions. other providers, Spectrum, Frontier, there's also satellite, T-Mobile, home internet, Verizon. So whatever really works for the customer.
So they just can pretty much pick whatever they want?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Metz? Then at this time, I take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved. Second?
Dick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes,
Annette?
Yes.
Bob?
meeting adjourned.